The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised. You're listening to Paranormal Concept right here on Parasearch UK Radio with your host, Paul Rook.
And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Paranormal Concept. It is now 9:01 on the 18th of whatever it is, I don't know, July, something like that, I don't know. I've been so busy lately, I'll tell you, it's unbelievable. Tonight's show, well, I've got some really good special guests with me tonight. I've got the very lovely, as always, Kerry Greenaway. Hello, Kerry.
Goody. Hello there, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah, very much so. You?
Yes, very well, thank you. Very excited about tonight.
So am I. And we're also joined by the very lovely MJ Dickenson, who's just dropped out. Oh, no.
Oh, no. That's not the moment you wanted to drop, is it?
Absolutely not. We'll just give her a call back anyway and see if she can come in. So what have you been on anyway, Kerry?
Well, I got some books today. I got David Farrant has sent me the copy of his second book, which he gifted me the first book and he's gifted me the second book. So thank you very much, David Farrant, for that. Ashley Nibbs sent me a copy of all of his mini books. I'm such a lucky girl. And a copy, I know, is Paranormal Investigator's Journal, which thank you again, Ashley Nibbs. Thank you so much for that. And Andy Mercer got me a copy of The Black Alchemist, which I'm incredibly blessed. All these men sending me stuff. So
random books. Lovely.
I know, all these books for me to read. Anyway, MJ's back with us, I believe.
No, I don't know. No, she's not. Not just yet.
Oh no.
That's the kid talking.
Okay. So I got all these books, which I've posted on my page today, thanking everybody because, I say I'm a very lucky girl to be blessed all these books by people giving them to me as well, which is even better.
You are. And now we've got MJ back.
Yay.
MJ?
I was kicked off, those damn gremlins.
Yeah, good evening. How are you? Now you're finally back in the room.
I am good. I'm good. How is
Awesome.
everyone else doing tonight?
Yeah, well, Kerry's just been explaining to everyone that she keeps getting random blokes sending her books.
No, not randoms.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you know one of them. That's Ashley Nibb. You've worked with Ashley before.
Oh, I love Ashley. He's wonderful. Did you get one of the paranormal journals?
Yes, he sent me a paranormal journal to fill out and a copy of all of his mini books.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, those are really good. I've actually read those. I've got all those copies. Ashley's brilliant.
I know, he's great.
Yeah, and he can't get out of the room now because his head's so big.
I know. And just putting it out there, if you want a copy of any of Ashley's books, go to www.ashleynibs.com.
Shameless plugging.
And David Farrant sent me a copy of his book, his second book, and I got a copy from Andy Mercer of The Black Alchemist. So I've had a lovely post today.
Oh, that's amazing.
All I got was bills.
I got sent 3 coffins today.
You got sent what?
3 coffins.
Oh.
Yeah, just those random objects I get sent.
Yeah. So I can't have books. Just putting that out there.
I might have books actually. Anyone
to be
listening to this, books are great.
To be fair, I'd quite happily accept books or coffins. You know,
Yeah.
I'd put my horror films in a coffin, but no, all I get is bills. That's not fair.
Oh, bless you.
Anyway, moving on. We invited MJ on to talk about Sage Paracon that's coming up very soon. So, plug away.
A little bit too soon. I've still got so much work to do. For those that are listening that don't know who I am, I'm MJ Dickenson. I'm the founder of Sage Paracon and Sage Paranormal here in the West Midlands, well, Warwickshire, actually, now that I've moved, in Warwickshire. And I host the Sage Paracon, the paranormal convention here in the UK. This year it's at Warwick Castle, and it's the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of September. Far too soon. But yeah, we've got loads of great speakers. So I don't even know where to start.
I must admit, I looked at the poster for your Sage Paracon, and you got John Zaffis.
I do. The godfather of the paranormal.
I've tried to.
Lovely person.
I've tried to speak to him loads of times, but he never replies.
Do you know what? John is so busy. I was actually exceptionally lucky. John hasn't been back to the UK in over 30 years. This is his first time back. And I actually got to meet John in April when I was over in Salem for the Salem Con.
Wow.
And that was, oh my goodness, what a great weekend. Absolutely phenomenal weekend. So I was over there visiting, catching up with Brian Cano and all of them. And John was one of the speakers on their bill. So I was just really fortunate, I guess. Right place, right time. He's very down to earth and really funny. So I was lucky enough to convince him to come over to the UK. Yay!
Fantastic.
So yes, John is definitely one of our speakers this year. We've got, along with John from Haunted Collector, we've got Brian J. Cano, who's actually a really good friend of mine. And I think he's a bit sick of me pestering him constantly with like, oh, how do I do this? He's like my paranormal Yoda. He's my go-to guy.
Yeah. I see in your lineup you've also got David Parry.
Yes.
We've got David on the show next week talking about Gnosticism.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I need to tune in for that, definitely. And that's going to be a great show.
It is, because I know absolutely zero about it. I'm going to be learning lots that night.
David's actually an extremely fascinating person. I watched his lecture at Paracon in 2014.
Yeah.
And I also had the opportunity to sit up on one of the paranormal roundtable debates with him. And he's a very interesting person. He's, oh my goodness, so talented in so many different ways. So I'm looking forward to David bringing something completely different to the convention, because everybody's talking about more the, your tips of investigating or the haunted objects or demonology or, everyone kind of seems to focus on that paranormal 101 rather than, which is great. Don't get me wrong. That's fantastic. We're just bringing something more on the spiritual side as well this year. We've got Claire Hinks as well, who is one of the most amazing mediums I have ever come across. It's actually Ashley Nibb's cousin.
It is. And I'm interviewing her in a few weeks as well.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, I love Claire.
Small world.
So wonderful. And do you know what I love about her the most is that she's just so modest. When I was chatting to her, I was talking to Ashley, and he was saying that, my cousin's a medium, and he was kind of, he didn't, overinflate her ego or, sorry. He didn't really talk her up all that much. And then when I spoke to her, she was just so down to earth about it. And she was like, oh yeah, I can do a reading for you. And it was literally mind-blowing. She was beyond accurate with descriptions and so on point with things. And the way she passes messages across is just so beautiful. A lot of mediums haven't learned that etiquette with, how the person receiving the information, how they might be feeling at the time. And she kind of just, without even thinking, you can see she just naturally checks in with you every now and again. And how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it was just beautiful, beautiful reading. Really, really good. And as soon as she finished, I sat back and I went, oh my God, Claire, you need to do this in front of people. You have to come to the convention.
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to her to obviously get a feel to see, for interviewing, reasons and stuff. And she did me a reading. And I'm very, very difficult. I find people find me incredibly difficult to read. And I have to sit there and say, okay, that was uncanny.
Yeah,
it was uncanny.
She's absolutely phenomenal. So she's going to be doing a mediumship demo at the Sage Paracon, as well as a little bit of a talk about who she is and everything that she does. We've also got Greg Lawson, who's coming back again. Greg was a homicide detective in Texas for a very, very long time. He's written several books. One of my favorites that he's written is Detecting the Paranormal. And his lectures are really good when it comes to how, as a detective, someone that's been in the police force for so long, using those interview techniques when it comes to interviewing people who have had paranormal experiences, and just the way he goes about things is really interesting. He brings up so many really good points, little things that you never think of, especially during your interviews, like the right way to ask questions. But he's also definitely one of the more popular lecturers that we had last year at the event. People just absolutely love Greg. And we've got Nikki Folsom, who's an author. We've got, who else? My goodness. We've got, Robert Murch. My gosh, Robert, if you're listening, I'm so sorry.
That's the Ouija board
yes,
museum
Robert,
guy, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Robert Murch is the world's leading specialist on Ouija boards. And he's pretty much doing a talk about sort of the whole history of them, and about his museum and, a lot of the work that he's done. He's really fascinating to talk to. I mean, everybody goes, it's definitely something that's going to bring through a demon. # it's a demon, of course. But when you start speaking to him and you realize, that it was actually made as a toy and et cetera, and how things progressed, it's a really fascinating story. But what I'm most excited about is the fact that in Warwick Castle, there's a particular room where Aleister Crowley, who was one of the world's most infamous occultists, he used to hold seances in this particular bedroom at Warwick Castle with the Dowager Countess and Daisy, the Countess of Warwick. And so, that's going back to using witch boards and all sorts of things in there. So being able to do that experiment in that room with Robert Murch, that's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of experience right there. That whole situation that I'm just super excited about.
I want to go now.
I'm going to have to pimp myself out, I think.
We still have about 20 tickets left for the event. We're actually running a raffle kind of competition at the moment.
Awesome.
Where you could actually win a ticket for the weekend, and it's a full VIP ticket. You get to listen to all the lectures. You get to do the paranormal investigation of Warwick Castle with all the guest speakers. You also get some time alone in the dungeon with some speakers.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, you get a Witchworks hamper, because that's my little product line between Afterlife Clothing and Witchworks. There's a little hamper, so you get the official Sage Paracon 2017 shirt, a hamper of all the goodies, as well as the whole weekend tickets, the Saturday night VIP party, which the theme is supernatural, as in the TV show.
Awesome.
So
sounds
all
really
things,
good.
Well, it's actually all things supernatural. But
And
you can...
Is that on your website?
It is. It's
Yeah.
on the Sage Paracon website, which is just sageparacon.co.uk.
I have shared the links into the
brilliant.
chat room as well for you.
Thank you.
So if anybody's not sure where to go, the links are in the chat room too.
Well, there's a few things that you need to do if you want to get in with a chance of winning the weekend package ticket. You have to like our Facebook page. Please find us on Facebook. It's just Sage Paracon UK. You have to go onto our website. It'll say that there's a little thing for raffle tickets. The raffle tickets are £10 each. And we will be donating a portion of that money to a chosen charity. We're still just deciding on which one we're going to be working with this year. Last year we did, we did Macmillan and we did Oxfam last year. So this year we'll be donating a portion of all the raffle tickets to a chosen charity as well.
Cool.
And so it's £10 a ticket. The more you buy, the more chances you have of winning in the raffle draw. And we'll be doing the draw on the 31st of August, I believe. And that'll be live on Facebook, that we'll do the draw and you can win the whole hamper. So you can let all your friends and everybody know. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I'm so going to be doing that.
I was going to say, how many tickets can we afford?
Well, at the moment, 3 until payday.
Yeah.
Just tell me about it. At the moment, I feel so broke I can't pay attention.
Okay, so earlier on, before the show, you was telling us that you think that a lot of people in the UK don't really know what to expect when it comes to Paracons. What would you say to those people to try and encourage them to attend?
You know, I'm actually South African, so it's really strange for me. I mean, I've been in the UK for like 9 years now, and I've done a few conventions over in the States, and I've actually done a couple of conventions here in the UK as well. And it's really funny because the UK are so set on it being this really stuck up kind of suit and tie sitting in a lecture room, and it's kind of lecture after lecture after lecture. Whereas, you know, you go to the States and it is all very much like a community thing, and it's people that are like-minded, just getting along, having chats. You've got stalls, you've got all sorts of things going on. So we've kind of, you know, last year we went all out. Last year we had 10 live bands.
Wow.
Yeah, we had a Ox Jam stage where we had bands playing throughout the entire weekend on the stage. We had like 30 stalls. We went all out. We had a zombie prom. There was just so much going on, and we kind of thought, you know what, this year we're actually going to tone it down a little.
I love the fact you've toned it down, yet it still is awesome.
Well, the thing is, we had too many different things going on. So people were really torn between, oh my God, do I go watch these really cool bands, or do I go watch that lecture? You know, so this year we're focusing a lot more on the lectures, which are all really fun. You know, it's not kind of oh my goodness, boring. Do I have to sit through this? I don't understand any of it kind of lecture. They are covering myths and legends and investigating tips and haunted objects and all sorts. There's such a wide variety of different talks. And then we do have some stalls this year. They'll mainly be the speakers that will be selling their books and their merchandise. We also have a green screen photographer that's going to be there again this year. I don't know if you guys saw some of the photos from last year's convention, the green screen photos we did.
I haven't, I must admit.
No, to be fair, I haven't either.
Okay, so we had several different backgrounds for you to choose from, and you could have your photo taken with a speaker of your choice or several of them, and you could have them printed straight away and have them all autographed. So you have photos of you with the speakers that are all signed, which is pretty cool. We've got the VIP party on the Saturday night, the investigation on the Friday night. Also, being in the castle, we've allowed time for people to go and actually see the castle, because it's amazing. I mean, they like fire trebuchets, and they have this amazing birds of prey, like a whole show. You sit underneath all the birds of prey flying over you. They've got the knights doing jousting. It's pretty cool. It's a castle.
Wasn't that castle also connected to the Pendle Witches?
I
Or is that
believe
another
so,
one?
yeah. I believe there is some strange history connected with the Pendle Witches.
Because I think when they were
prosecuted,
prosecuted, they were sent to Warwick Castle, to be incarcerated. I'm sure it was Warwick Castle.
Oh, I don't actually know. I'm terrible with researching locations. I'm really bad at it. Not that I'm really bad at it. I don't want to know because I don't want to be influenced by anything.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, I have a few things that we're going to try out this year at the investigation. We've actually had the castle say that they're going to open up areas which have never been investigated before. And one of the ladies that's actually coming to the convention, Susan, a good friend of mine, she's like the great times 27 or something granddaughter of the Earl of Warwick that used to live in the castle.
Fantastic.
Oh my goodness.
So we'll see if that's like a trigger situation with that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But for those that don't know what a convention is, there's parties, there's lots of laughs, there's alcohol, there's fun times, there's lectures, and hey, it's like university. You have a good time and you might learn something.
Well, that's actually something that we've got people in the chat room talking. Carl Hutchinson has said last year was one of the best events of last year. Amazing speakers, amazing friends. You've got Ashley Neeb, who I believe was there last year as a speaker, and he said we need the fun element rather than an academic affair, which we already have plenty of. MJ gets it, and Sage Paracon is cool.
It is a lot of fun, you know. We do have, I don't know if people have seen some of our Facebook groups or our pages and things, and we always call it the Sage Tribe. And it really is. It's that thing where you find your people that you connect with. You find your tribe and you stick to them and you learn and you have fun. And it's so great to see over the years. We've got, like, how our group of friends has grown. You know, our tribe has grown so significantly over the last few years because of these sorts of events that we've been putting on. We had the D-Day tour with Brian Cano in March, and that was 3 investigations in a space of about 10 days. And, you know, we had so many groups of people that met at those investigations in March that now I see them doing weekends away with each other, and they're going investigating together, and they're all sharing cabins at the convention. And it's so beautiful to see the amazing friendships and things that are being formed through these events, which is exactly why we need more of them.
I do agree. I mean, that's sort of the point of doing them, to go out there and meet other investigators and form friendships. And because, I mean, you know, all the teams out there that do cause trouble for other people, they're the ones that are not doing us any favours. You know, if we're going to get on in the paranormal, we need to all band together and work together and grow it as a whole. Do you know what I mean? So I think Paracons are the way to go, I think.
They are so much fun. I've become quite the addict. And it's funny because if you speak to people that have been to several conventions, whether it be paranormal conventions or, you know, the Walking Dead, like the Walker Stalker cons, or whatever convention it is of their choice, Asylum, like the Supernatural TV show conventions, and you speak to all of them afterwards and they all go, oh my gosh, I've got such con blues. And it's because for that weekend you are having the time of your life with such like-minded people. There's no judgment, there's no bickering, it's just a really good time. And you leave on the Monday and you feel so sad. It's like you're leaving your family. It's the strangest feeling, but
Are you going to do these Paracons every year now, or are you just going to...
I don't really know about next year. Kind of in two minds about doing it next year because we have a paranormal cruise that we've just launched.
Okay.
So yeah,
This looks awesome, everybody. I've had a look at this as well. This looks awesome.
As if I don't have enough work on my plate at the moment. So we've done this cruise several years in a row already. We were actually doing it with a wonderful lady by the name of Jackie Hardy that was organising a cruise called the Spurry Cruise over the last few years.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough to be one of the guest speakers on the cruise for a couple of years in a row. And it's really interesting. I mean, you do have a convention on board, so you've got the lectures and the speakers and things on board, which they're trapped on a boat, so you can annoy the hell out of them for a week. It's great. They can't go anywhere. But it's really great because you stop at so many different locations, and then you get to learn about like the culture and the history and the paranormal side of things at each location, and do these little excursions and tours. So it is quite an adventure. But unfortunately, Jackie is taking a break from doing the Spurry Cruise next year. But I spoke to her about it and decided that there were so many people from the UK that couldn't get over to the States for that cruise. So we decided to do it from Europe. So it's just much more accessible for people from the UK. And it is May next year. And we have...
Awesome.
It's 10 days. We do Venice for 3 days. We're staying at a hotel and we're doing tours, investigations, all sorts of things going on. We're staying in a fabulously haunted hotel in the center of Venice. And we're there for those 3 days. Then we board the ship and we do Bari, Italy. We do Cataclone in Greece, Mykonos, Piraeus. There's 3 Greek stops. We do Saranda in Albania and Dubrovnik in Croatia, where Game of Thrones is filmed. Yeah, so we're doing a Game of Thrones.
Fantastic.
Which is wicked. I'm so excited.
You don't need any like first aid cover because I know a really qualified, good ambulance man.
We're going to have to talk about that.
And I do crystals, all right. So if you need any help with the crystal front, just putting ourselves forward for this.
We've got the 10-day adventure booked for the 16th to the 26th of May next year, and that's looking pretty amazing so far.
Oh, so jealous.
I don't know.
We're going to have to start saving, Paul. We're going to have to start raising some money somehow to get onto these conventions and cruises, aren't we?
We are, absolutely.
You need to come and join us. Come join the party.
So would love to.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Christmas presents and birthday presents. Just get money.
I'm not. I'm just thinking about travelling. That do me.
So just let the family and everybody know that we do have Sage Paranormal vouchers that can be used
even better
towards any one of our events. So
fantastic.
Anyone's looking for Christmas presents, or you want to hint, nudge to the family, just you can get a hold of us by email. You can email me directly, and we can hook you up with vouchers.
Okay, awesome. I'm sending them all your way.
Tell them.
Yeah, same here.
at sageparacon.co.uk. Tell them all to come to me. I'll hook you up with birthday presents and things.
Great. Perfect.
Brilliant.
That's me sorted. I've just got to get rid of the children.
No, you can tie them over the side. You could tie them to the side of the boat.
Yeah.
Nah, just leave them home alone. I think there's a... they're old enough. Leave them home alone.
You could always sell those.
That's true. Now, there's an idea, MJ. I like you.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Other than the paranormal work and stuff you do, have you any other projects that are on the go?
Oh, gosh, always. I'm setting up our Witchworks product range. So for those that know me, they know I love my witchy ways. I love anything herbal, organic, homemade, so all sorts of remedies and things. And a lot of this range that I've created, I mean, I make everything myself. I'm kind of focusing a few products specifically. Yeah, they're kind of gearing towards paranormal investigators. For instance, I do a whole bunch of like bath teas and bath salts and crystal jewelry and just a little bit of everything and anything really. But some of the products that I am loving the most at the moment, which I think I'm going to expand the range, is actually our sage products. So we have bath salts that are particularly for paranormal investigators. So everybody knows what a paranormal hangover is. You get back to the location and you feel so drained and you feel like your energy kind of just feels dirty and like you've picked up all sorts of things at these locations. And, the way I've created this range in particular is they're all cleansing. And it's sage cleansing sprays that you can spray on yourself before or after an investigation. Or if you start feeling that you're a bit uncomfortable or anything during an investigation, it's handy to have the sage spray in your bag, and you can just in your paranormal investigating kit, give yourself a couple sprays of that and feel a lot better. It's a nice alternative to burning sage because a lot of people don't like the smoke. Mm-hmm. So you can use it to cleanse your home. It's made with white sage and clary sage, as well as frankincense, essential oils, and there's a whole bunch of blue cornflower in there. There's a whole range of stuff, and it's all organic and herbal.
I must admit, the sprays would make it a lot easier.
It really does, honestly, and it's something that I've been using around my house and all sorts for a while, and they really do make the whole place just feel a bit better. Another thing that we're doing is the sage bath salts. So salt is naturally purifying. So when you're feeling that sluggish energy, there is nothing better after a really long night of investigating than getting in a nice warm bath and just, relaxing your muscles, especially during winter months when you've been down in a tunnel system underground, freezing cold, it's wet, it's dark, there's bugs everywhere, and you get home and all you want is that nice bath or nice, relaxing hot shower. And so we're doing the full range of like sage bath salts and body scrubs and things, which not only smell divine, but they help cleanse things as well. They cleanse your energy and just boost you and make you feel a bit better too.
Awesome.
So, I've been working on that range frantically. I move into a little shop at the end of this month. So, chaos.
Well, it's all go for you. But on that note, I'm just going to play a quick break and then we'll be back very shortly after this.
Hello, Harry Price here. Good evening. If there's nothing myself and everybody else enjoy here on the other side more is the sit back and relax and listen to Parasearch Radio with its paranormal news, views and reviews from across the UK and beyond. Make sure to find out more about them on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web, whatever they are, to keep up to date with all their broadcasts throughout the week. And I hope you enjoy them as much as we do over here. Hello? Is anybody there?
And welcome back, and thank you for that, Mr. Harry Price. I love that advert. It's absolutely fantastic.
We say it every time, though. This is the worrying thing.
All
the presenters go, we love that Harry Price advert.
We got to get him on even more, on someone else's show, I think. We'll have to get
do it on the Friday show.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, aliens. Anyway, tonight we're talking to MJ Dickenson, all about Sage Paracon, Sage Paranormal, and her new line of bath salts and everything else. So, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
There is, absolutely. Oh, and the cruise next year as well.
Yep. Do you know what? I also have a clothing line and my own blend of coffee. So.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And what's the coffee like?
Well, it's called Afterlife Deadly Blend.
Ooh, I'll have to
Ooh.
try some of that.
Do you know what? It's actually great. I work with a little independent coffee estate just outside Stratford upon Avon, and they're fantastic. I go over and we go through all the different types of beans, and whether it's Ethiopian or from Guatemala, or we pick the blend, we measured out exactly kind of which amounts of which types of beans we're going for. It's more of a bit of an espresso roast. And it's great. It does keep you up throughout the night. That's just what a paranormal investigator needs.
Exactly. Yeah,
Nice,
bouncing off the walls.
decent, strong coffee. Yeah. And it literally can wake the dead. It's that strong.
Fantastic.
Well, I have shared the Etsy shop in the chat room, guys. If you get a chance, have a look at it because the prices are amazing. They're really good value for what you're getting. There's wire wrap jewellery on there as well as all the sprays and the clothing line as well, which I have to say looks awesome. And all the bath salts and everything that MJ's been talking about and the cleansing house sprays. Definitely go and check it out. They're really good prices and they're so prettily packaged as well.
Thank you. I take my time with that.
Yeah, and it shows.
Everything by hand. I mean, there's a lot of love and a lot of energy and, just a lot of positivity that goes in all of it. Yeah, I was just thinking back to my comment that I made off air earlier. My husband says regarding the positivity, but there is a lot of work that goes into it, and it is a real labor of love for me. So I would appreciate it if everyone went and had a look and get your hands on some of the bath salts. They are literally amazing, and the cleansing sprays as well.
Well, actually, Nib in the chat room, he's already rated the coffee, and he said it's absolutely, really nice coffee. And as a coffee drinker himself, he gives it thumbs up.
Yay!
So there you go.
I think you have a fan in Ashley, to be fair, because he's said nothing but he's seen nothing but amazing things about you, MJ. I think you have a big fan there.
I feel the same about Ashley, though. He is just so wonderful, and not only a good friend, but he really brings up some really interesting points in the paranormal, and his research puts me to shame. So, I'm always up for learning more from him.
I agree.
Yeah. So we need to get him on more then, don't we?
We do. I keep telling you this.
We will be doing a few more of our free events. I've had quite a few people message me and go, the Sage Paracon is great, but they can't afford the weekend, or, they can't afford to go away for a full weekend for a convention. We launched this I think it was like beginning of March. We launched what we called the Sage Paranormal University events. And it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. So whoever's listening to this, please don't think like, oh, God, who are you to try and teach us and call yourselves a university? We're not. We're so not. It's completely the opposite. They are free talk. We do get local guys in, from different teams and give them the platform to share their knowledge and their experience. And just give them, not everyone's used to speaking in front of a crowd. So it's a nice platform for them to get used to public speaking and promote their work that they do. And so we will be loading more of these on our website, but we usually host the talks at local libraries or sometimes at a pub, which was hence the Sage Paranormal University, because, again, there's alcohol involved. You have a couple of drinks, you meet up with like-minded people, and you might learn something. There you go.
Sounds good to me.
Sounds like my kind of tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hey, you got to have fun and make things interesting. Everything can't just be so stuck up and boring.
Totally agree.
I agree with that. I agree with that. There's a lot of serious stuff that goes into paranormal investigating, and it's also a lot of fun as well. And it is the fun that needs to be brought into it as well as the serious. And
Exactly.
you definitely seem to have that very good blend from talking to you and looking at your events. You definitely seem to have that kind of blend going on. And it looks great.
I speak to people regarding the paranormal all the time. I mean, it's what I do full time. And it's when you think about it, it's something so dark and well, I don't mean dark as in everything's demonic and hashtag it's a demon as everything is on TV these days. I mean, it is a very morbid thing to talk about. You're talking about death. You're talking about the afterlife. You're talking about grief and losing people. And most of the time, investigators get into this because they've lost a family member or several, and that is kind of the very depressing, morbid side of it. So the last thing you want is for all your lectures and everything that you do to be so serious and just focus on that side of things all the time. What if it's just Grandma Joe that really liked the house and she's still there? There is a light side to all of this as well. And I think it is so important that we focus on that as well.
I do think that sometimes when you go to lectures and stuff, if it is just quite flat and boring, not only in tones but the subject matter, you don't really retain the information. But
you don't.
If the lecturer makes it a little bit more upbeat and fun to listen to, then you retain the information more. And I think that's sort of where it should be, really. Yeah.
This is exactly what we're trying to get across to people. And don't get me wrong, like when it comes down to the investigation itself, yes, that is a serious thing. You're not going to be drinking during an investigation or running around causing havoc or whatever. That is a very sort of structured thing. There's certain experiments that we want to try that we're hoping for a certain result. There's certain protocols. You're not just going to run riot when it comes to that side of things. So for those that do take this really seriously out there and you're listening to me thinking, what a floozy, like everything's just about fun and rainbows, guess what? There is the serious side. But we've just focused on that so much lately and also, unfortunately, every single television show that we have at the moment, regardless of who, what, where, why, or how, everything is demonic. I have never seen so many demons in my entire damn life. Literally, every episode. Like, come on, guys.
They're all fighting to get on the TV these days, these demons.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my goodness, we've got live exorcisms on TV. It's a bit like, guys, those are for entertainment purposes. And yes, there are shows out there that do focus on the actual investigating and not so much the theatrics of things. There are some really good shows out there, but it just seems that if we speak to anybody, as somebody that's been in this industry for a few years, you talk to anyone and you go, how did you get into the paranormal? Well, I saw it on TV. I saw it on TV, and then I wanted to find out for myself. So I put on a black T-shirt and grabbed a K2 meter, and I went out and I tried to investigate. And it's trial and error, and I've learned, because heaven forbid you speak to another team and actually learn something from another team. So I've learned everything from TV. Yeah. And this is where the problem is coming in with our industry at the moment. It's kind of self-imploding because people are all ego. They are really focusing on, well, I saw this on TV. I know better. I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to actually take the time to listen to lectures. I'm not going to take the time to learn from another team. And this is, when you have everybody taking all the TV shows and things so seriously, again, this is why we have the issues that we do in the industry at the moment.
I totally agree with that. Absolutely. 100%.
I do think, though, that for all the bad that TV shows have brought to the field, I think there's been a hell of a lot of good, because it has brought some amazing people into the field that are now working in looking at different concepts and different ideas and trying to drive it forward away from the very Victorian kind of viewpoint that we feel, which feels very stuck, almost very old school way of working. There are people now who got into the field because of those
my God,
TV
Kerry,
programs.
I can actually literally hug you right now. This is something I've been saying for so long, that, you know, you go over to the States and they have so many different ways of investigating. There's so much more equipment. There's so much. It's just so different. And it's because teams are working together. Teams are inventing things. Teams are striving to push it forward. And I'm not saying everybody. I mean, there's yahoos over there just as much as we have those yahoos over here. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not saying they are all amazing and et cetera, because it's not the case. But what I'm saying is there are those people that realize that by working together and moving forward and inventing things and trying and pushing, they are making headway in the field. And it is getting things out of that Victorian period. And it's amazing, because here in the UK, you go on an investigation, they're like, okay, now we're going to do table tipping. I'm like, oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Okay, absolutely fine. Let's do a table tipping experiment. However, are you measuring the atmosphere? Are you collecting data from, you know, EMF or the temperature, or just at least something simple? Are you trying to document this? And how are you setting up this experiment? How are you trying to validate it? How are you trying to prove that this is actually something that works, that is real? What are you doing? Oh no, we're just going to sit around a table. Like, well, no, no, that's not moving the field forward. This is still stuck in what they were doing, you know, back then. We've got the technology. Let's use it. Let's move forward.
And I think those sort of teams are also heavily influenced by, not only is it the TV, but it's also the big paranormal event teams, you know, because they realise that, like, for example, my event company, for example, because we have the public out in the investigation, we know that we can't control a particular experiment, so we will not necessarily record everything, because I can't, you know, vouch for everyone that's there. So we don't tend to record anything. We're there basically to give the public a experience,
an introduction to investigating and what it would actually be like. Well, not
and then
not
some of them,
like,
I mean,
but an idea of.
Yeah, and some of them, maybe not all of them, but maybe the odd minority of the people might think, well, okay, well, I can go and do my own paranormal investigation team and do that, but then they don't know how to do the experiment properly, and they wouldn't know how to record because they haven't been shown how to do it. So, because I do private investigations as well as the public side, so I can see the two differences in the way we work. But I do think, you know, the TV especially does give the paranormal world a bad rap sometimes, because you do
not
get
all the time, but
no, I'm not. I think it's a small minority, because you get this in whatever profession you are in.
of course.
You know, I work with the ambulances and stuff, and you come across incidents, and people think that they know more about it than you because they've watched Casualty the week before and seen how to do CPR, and it's like, really?
Yeah. Well, that's just it. You know, a lot of people out there kind of poo-poo the convention because we have investigators as seen on TV. I mean, we've got John Zappers, we've got Brian Cano, we've got Robert Murch, we've got Jeff Belanger. Jeff Belanger is the writer and researcher of Ghost Adventures. You know, he's been on several Ghost Adventures episodes. He has his own TV show. He's Emmy nominated for his show New England Haunts, and you know, he's not just the researcher for the show. People don't understand that, like, yes, these guys have been on TV, but unfortunately, what they don't realize is that you've got a group of producers telling you exactly what to do and how to do it and when to do it and blah, blah,
Absolutely.
blah. It's not an actual investigation. That is not a correct representation of these people. These are actually experienced investigators.
Mm-hmm.
You know, John Zaffis has got like 4 decades of experience, if not more.
And that's the side of it that actually makes them more interesting, because you're actually seeing that experience put out in front of you, not the TV persona.
Exactly.
You're actually getting to know what they do, what they've learned from the field.
Exactly. And without a director or a producer telling them, look this way, talk this way, do this, do that. Well, that's not going to give us TV ratings. You know, you are getting, these are experienced people. I mean, we've done several investigations, as I said, in March with Brian Cannon. And it was so fascinating to actually be in an investigation with Brian and learn from him. And those that were at those events and got to participate in the experiments and things that we did, it was really interesting. You know, it's completely different. You do learn a lot. So yes, these guys are from TV, as seen on Ghost Adventures, as seen on Haunted Collector, as seen on several different shows. However, you're getting the actual investigators in this situation, which is why I say, you know, TV has really hurt the industry, but it's really helped it as well. I mean, without Haunted Collector, how many people would know who Brian and John and all these people are?
Yeah.
You know, how would you learn from them? It kind of gives them the platform outside of actually being on the show to be able to share this knowledge with you.
No, we agree. We talk when Paul and I interviewed Ashley, he was actually talking about an investigation he did at Fort Horsted with Brian J. Cano, and it was a completely different, experiment to what we'd seen before, and that's from the experience that Brian brings to an investigation. And like we said, it's not his public TV persona, it's his experience of trying different things, working different experiments in the field. And this is what you're going to get if you go to these paranormal conventions where these people are talking. You're going to learn that sort of thing and see these different experiments and find a different way of investigating from the norm of what you would assume. And that's why these things are so important. That's why these conventions are so important. And Sage Paracon in one brings all these people together in a way that I haven't seen before in a different kind of convention, and gives you that experience, as well as being able to talk to them and being able to investigate with them and see them at doing what they do best, seeing what they do best without the TV cameras guiding them, like you said, MJ.
Yeah, exactly that. You know, Paul, you were saying earlier about like how you do public events.
Yeah.
And, I always say to people, like, Sage don't really do public events in that sense. And I have nothing against them whatsoever. I think it is great. There are several public events companies that I'm very good friends with the founders of these companies, and I always advertise their events and things. And I think they are good at what they do. It is a great introduction into the paranormal. It's a great stepping stone for people to go, hey, I really like this, or no, this is not my thing.
Yeah.
But it is a great way for people to use it as a stepping stone to kind of learn a little bit more before just running off and thinking they're going to start their own team, etc., etc. However, people do need to know that these are event companies. These are...
Yeah.
That it's not what an actual investigation is all about.
No, that's. I mean, we try to be a little bit different to some of the other groups out there, because I like to say that we try to give them an experience of being a paranormal investigator for the night. So we will give them the tools, we will show them how to use the tools, and basically give them an area for them to investigate. And they become the paranormal investigator for the night. So if anything happens, we want them to investigate it, as opposed to just saying, oh yeah, that was old spirit of headless Nick. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, we want them to investigate it as much as they can. But I don't tend, because obviously with the public, we can't really record information.
I mean, over the years, we've done several public investigations. We have.
Yeah.
Like we did the D-Day tour with Brian, and that we have done several others as well, where we've done charity investigations and things. And you do learn certain experiments that are really cool to get a whole group of people involved.
Yep.
And and where you don't need to worry about contamination, etc., too much. It is more about the experience and kind of giving them an idea of setting up an experiment. But I'm actually, do you know what I was thinking? I was speaking to some friends of ours that are part of the Sage Tribe, as I call it, and they were asking when I'm going to set up some more investigations. And, anyone can join us on these investigations that we set up. I mean, if you want to come along and you want to join in and you want to learn more, that's absolutely great. But the ones we do are generally for experienced investigators already. It's more, it's more sharing a location rather than a public event. It's all of us deciding on a place, choosing the location, getting the cost involved and splitting it equally amongst however many people are investigating, because that allows all of us to investigate more.
Yeah. There are certain locations, again, depending on the size, I do try to encourage paranormal teams to come out with us as well. I think we went to Shrewsbury Prison one year. And
do you know what? I know exactly how expensive that place is.
Yeah, and the place is vast as well. So we was able to split the areas into like 3 different areas. So we could have a team coming with us, and we could say, right, okay, well, if you're just willing to rotate around the other groups, you can get on and do your investigation in your own area.
That's great. Yeah.
And we rotate the groups and let them get on with what they want to do. But
I think that's a brilliant idea. I think more people should be sharing locations.
Absolutely, and depending
we've done
on
that with several teams.
Depending on the size of their group as well, we might be able to work out a bit of a discount for them, because they don't need as much attention from us as members of the public. So we can basically just give them their own time slots in different areas and let them get on with it.
That's a fantastic idea, because we've done that on several occasions where we've had a larger location where there were several different buildings on the location or so, and we've joined up. Hell, we've done it in small places where we've teamed up with another team and investigated together to purely learn from each other.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, I do enjoy working with other teams. I've been to other teams' events as well. I encourage all my staff, like all the staff that work for Trident, I encourage them all to, if they want to go and do another group event somewhere else with another company, go for it, because at the end of the day, they could learn something that we don't do and bring it back to us, and vice versa. So I'm very much in favour of learning from others and vice versa, others learning from us. We're all.
I've got a few events booked with some other public events companies that are, because I mean they do know that I'm an experienced investigator, so I'm very experienced, but more so than public. So they allow me to wander off with a couple of other investigators and have our own little bit of space in that. Personally, I am terrible at hosting a public investigation. I don't know. I'm like, well, it's an EVP. If people go, what's that? And I go, I don't have time to explain what this is. Yeah. I just want to investigate. I just want to investigate. I think that's probably why I don't really do public events.
Yeah, I like both. I like educating and talking to people about things that I know and in the field, but also doing my own thing as well. So I like a mix of both. So I'm really lucky. I get to do both.
Lectures. Oh, I can, as you could hear tonight, there's no dead air. There's no denying that. I'm a very talkative person, and I love doing the lectures and teaching that way. But when it comes to looking after newbies in the field and that, I don't know. I used to enjoy doing it, and now maybe it's because I've been so busy that I just don't get to investigate on my own as much as I'd like to.
So I get best
without looking after anyone else.
I get the best of both worlds, because I run the event. I've got all my hosts; they do all their job. They take off all the public, and I'm left on my own 99% of the time, so I can then go off and in my own area and do my own investigation all on my lonesome. Love it.
Yeah, it leaves me to do the donkey work while he sits there investigating on his own.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Sounds about right, doesn't it, Paul?
It does. And you know what? The best place I've ever experienced is a theatre in Margate. I was actually sitting in the chairs in front of the stage, and that's the one. And I at the back, I heard someone open the door, close it, and walk across the back of the room.
Wow.
And there was no one there, and I was like, okay, that's a bit odd, isn't it? But I can't explain it. It's interesting. I'm still not prepared to say paranormal. I've yet to go back.
Oh, you see, that's like me with my my photograph that I took at Warwick Castle. I'm not too sure if either of you have seen the photo. It's a full-bodied apparition stood in the window behind me. But I've taken the photo of a sign that was at the end of the bed, and it's the reflection in the sign. So you can see the person stood in the window behind me blocking the light out.
Okay.
And I have tried everything to debunk this photo. I have gone back so many different times. And the thing is, Warwick Castle, when we called them after we'd seen this apparition in the photo, because I'd been there during the afternoon doing a walkthrough, taking photos of all the sizes of the rooms and things.
Yep.
And I called them and I went, oh my goodness, do you have any waxworks figures or anything there? And they were like, no. And I went, okay, can you check the CCTV footage or anything? Just am I alone in the room? And they went, yeah, well, you snapping a few photos at the end of the bed and doesn't seem to be anyone else there.
Yeah.
Okay. So I sent them the photo and they went, oh my goodness. Can you send that to the newspapers and stuff? So it actually had made international news. It was a really interesting photo. And every time I go back to the castle, every meeting I have for the convention, every time I'm there, I go back to that exact same spot. I reposition everything the way it was the day I was there. And I look like a complete nutter because I'm just picking up stuff in the room and moving it around the castle. You have all these people wandering through looking at me like I'm nuts. I'm probably not supposed to do that.
Yeah,
but for my
I've
peace
done
of
stuff
mind,
like
I
that.
keep trying to recreate it. And I haven't been able to.
I must admit, when I went to Kelvedon Hatch nuclear bunker, they've got a medical bay, and again, because my daytime profession was ambulance crew, they had a dummy on the stretcher and it had the wrong face mask. I was like, no, got to change that. Put the right one on. Got to do it right, haven't you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, don't upset the spirits. Oh dear. Anyway, on that note, we have actually come to the end of the show. We've actually run over by 3 minutes.
Oh my goodness, already.
That's Kerry's fault. I'll blame her entirely.
I get the blame for everything.
I really got so many words in tonight because, I was that quiet.
We couldn't get in a word in edgeways because of Kerry. I don't know.
Those guys.
It's been an absolute pleasure being on the show with you guys.
It's been absolutely amazing, and I would love to have you on the show again at some point.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, yeah, let me know when.
Cool. I'll book you in for a date.
Sure. We can carry on the conversation of our random rambles.
or you can invite me and Kerry onto your cruise, and we could do a live show on the cruise.
Well, we have to discuss this.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, there's lots of things we need to discuss.
Absolutely. But thank you anyway for joining me tonight, and thank you for joining me as well, Kerry. And
always welcome.
Thank you everybody in the chat room.
me,
Ashley Nibb. I'm not sure how we're going to get Ashley Nibb out of the chat room with his head massive tonight.
I've got a crowbar. It's fine. I've got the crowbar.
Okay. Awesome.
Oh, come on. Ash, I'll stand up for you.
Who's just put Kerry's after more freebies? Write your next book, Ashley. Come on.
Oh dear. Okay, yeah, so
Guys, have a wonderful evening, and to everyone listening, thanks for listening to me ramble for an hour.
It has been brilliant, I must admit, and I've really enjoyed it, and I think Kerry has too.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, very much so. Thank you very much.
Yep, and thank you everyone in the chat room, and stay safe, and we will see you all next week for David Parry's Gnosticism show, which should be really interesting.
And you need to listen to that. You have to. He's amazing.
And we're going to learn lots, because I've got to do a bit of research during the day, to be honest. Yeah, so thank you anyway.
Have a good night.
Yep, and you, and thank you everybody for joining us.
Hello, Harry Price here. Good evening. If there's nothing myself and everybody else enjoy here on the other side more is the sit back and relax and listen to Parasearch Radio with its paranormal news, views and reviews from across the UK and beyond. Make sure to find out more about them on Facebook, Twitter and the World Wide Web, whatever they are, to keep up to date with all their broadcasts throughout the week. And I hope you enjoy them as much as we do over here. Hello? Is anybody there?